So, what if I told you you're already talking to the animals, whether you realize it or not? Let me tell you a little story, and maybe this will help you understand that communicating with animals isn't something just a cherished few get to do. It is something that we are all born with and have the ability to do. It is our God-given gift. So let me tell you a little bit story of I was a skeptic for many years. I only believed certain people were able to communicate with animals, and just happened to go on a weekend with a bunch of friends to a workshop to help us connect with some of the farm animals there. And I just kind of went for like a girls' weekend, and I had a connection with a goat that changed my life, literally changed my life. So, we learned all the techniques of how to quiet your mind and connect with the animals. And after 2 days of kind of learning all of this, we got to go out into the barn and work with some of the animals out there. So I walked out and I was really drawn to this cute little goat. I love goats. I mean, I love all animals, but they're just comical. So I walked over to his stall, and he was perched up on his gate. And, so I had my notebook, and that's one of the tips, to write down everything that you feel like you're getting. So I thought I heard him say, "Don't you think I'm handsome?" So I wrote it down in my notebook. And then I thought I heard him say, "Your pants are funny." And I was like, yeah, gosh, you're right. I'm getting fashion advice from a goat. Now, mind you, this was like over 30 years ago, and I think I had on like flowered stretch pants, something horrible. Probably back in style today, though. So anyways, I'm like, yeah, I agree. So I wrote that down. And the next thing he said was what really blew my mind, because I heard him say, "What do you think of my ornaments?" And that's what I was like, whoa, where did that come from? The other stuff, my mind was like, oh, you just made that up. But that just came out of the blue. And as I wrote it down, I'm like, well, that's weird. And then he told me to move along, that other people wanted to chat with him. So I did, and I just worked with some other animals, but it was just simple hellos and, nothing crazy. So we went back to class, and the teacher asked what information we got from the animals. And I said, well, I spoke with Tyler, and he told me he was handsome and told me my pants were funny. And then he asked me what I thought of his ornaments. And the teacher laughed, and she said, well, every day the staff goes out to, take care of the animals, and they always ask him, "Tyler, what do you have today for ornaments?" Because he always has hay and different things hanging from his horns. So that to me was the validation I needed, because I was very skeptical, to say, you know what, there is something to this. And if I can do it with my mind racing and being skeptical, well, I'm going to dive into this more. So from that point forward, I really, my soul, it was my soul's calling. I read every book I could on the subject. I took as many workshops as I could. I joined practice groups. I started practice groups. And I really went head over heels into this notion of connecting with the animals on a deeper level. It spoke to my soul. So fast forward, after many years of practicing and feeling like I got to the point where I could help people, this became my profession. And I've been doing this now for over 30 years. So my goal is to help you learn how to connect with your own animals and other people's animals, wild animals, nature. There's so much we can learn from our animals and nature and all the wonderful beings that inhabit this earth. So my goal is to help you learn how to tap into this innate ability that we all have. So, first thing that you need to know, you have to believe you can do it. So I'm living proof, okay? I've got a mind that races all the time. So if I can do it, you can do it. So that's the first thing, is really to believe you can do it. And the best way to kind of dive into this notion is to have a very open, playful mind about it, and very curious. So instead of going into it thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this, I want you to go into it with a very fun, curious mind. And start communicating with your own animals. You do it all the time anyways. What you probably feel like you're not getting is the information back from them. And so that's where we can play around with our imagination to allow that information to come through. So our imagination is the gateway for intuitive information to come through when our logical mind tries to squash it. And you can hear your logical mind. It'll be saying, you're making this up. This isn't true. Let's go do something else. This isn't real. So that's your logical mind. And once you recognize that, you can soften its voice, right? And once we soften that voice, our intuition, our connection, our telepathic skills begin to open up. Think of it like a garden hose, right? So when we are open to information and quiet in the mind, it's like a garden hose that is flowing freely. When our logical mind tries to overrule our intuition, there's a kink in that hose, right? We want to keep that hose flowing. So we do this by having a quiet mind, but I know that's difficult for a lot of people. We can do this through meditation and simple breathing exercises, but another really fun way to do it is by starting with your imagination. So when our logical mind thinks it's the imagination, it kind of takes a back seat. It's like, oh, it's just your imagination. But that, again, is the gateway to allow some of this information to come through if you feel like you are stuck or just not receiving the information. So you say, Debbie, how do I do this? Well, you're going to start with your own animals or with someone else's animal that you don't know. It's a lot easier working with animals you don't know because the information that you get is stuff that, you don't already know. Oh, that's my kitty. Come on. You want to come up? She wants to say hi. Hi. Sorry. So if you can work with someone's animal you don't know, that's a great way to start. But if you don't right now, just work with your own animals. And I want you to start by every day, you're going to greet them, hey, how you doing this morning, which we always do, and imagine they are answering you, okay? Just want you to imagine it. And once you begin to imagine it, you're opening that channel, okay? So imagine they're saying something back to you, oh, I'm doing good, and just begin to imagine. And imagine they're saying, yeah, I'm doing good. And you ask them, well, how's your food today? Oh, it's great. How you feeling? How you feeling in your body? Oh, you didn't sleep good last night, so I didn't sleep good last night. So just kind of play around with that. Just imagine they're talking to you. And that is just going to kind of open up the door for more information to come through. So that's what I want you to start with. I want you to do this for a whole week, a few times a day, and just begin playing with the imagination. I want you to add one more component onto that. And this is important. I want you to begin to write stuff down. So when you're communicating with them, I want you to just write stuff down. And I say this because that is my cat rubbing her head on the tripod. Come over here. Oh my goodness. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Sorry. It's hard to find a quiet spot in my house without animals in there. So writing the communication down is so important, because when you write things down, again, this is another gateway to getting more information. When you begin to write stuff down, it opens that garden hose, right? It opens that door for more information to come through. So it's really important. It may sound silly, but just kind of get a notebook, something that you can refer back to, that you kind of keep everything together, a notebook, a journal, whatever you'd like to use. But it's really important to begin doing that. And I promise you, as you start to do that, more information will come through. I work 3 ways with animals. I do it over the phone. So I'm talking with the person and I'm connecting with their animal long distance. And information comes to me in pictures and feelings and words. So I'm interpreting like this movie playing in my head. When I do email consultations, they are just sending me a picture of the animal with their questions. And when I work with them, when I connect with them, I am asking them a question and I'm typing out almost like automatic writing. Everything that's coming to me from them. And the minute I begin, even if nothing is coming through in the beginning, the minute I begin to kind of type the information or the question I'm asking them, it just starts to flow in. And I just, am typing as fast as it's coming in. So the same applies to writing stuff down. The minute you start to do that, you're opening up that channel and a lot of information will start to come through. And the third way I do it is, if I'm working with an animal in person, obviously I'm not typing stuff down. It is just, we're communicating back and forth. And it's kind of the same way as me working over the phone. Although it takes me longer sometimes working with an animal in person because I get very distracted with the physical. Whereas, when I'm working with a person over the phone, the picture kind of comes into my mind immediately and I'm not distracted by anything physical in front of me. So those are the 3 ways. And so I hope that helps you. And the exercise this week is to sit with your animal or animals or a friend's animal, or if you don't know anybody that has an animal that you can access, you can go to a shelter. And you don't have to be in person. If you have a relative or a friend that has an animal, have them send you a picture, and you can begin doing these greeting exercises with them every day and just writing down the information you get. So you're going to do the greeting exercise. You can just keep it an open question. Do you have anything you want to tell me today? Or you can ask specific questions like, how's your body feel today? What do you want to do today? Or if it's at the end of the day, what was the best part of your day today? So fun things like that, and just write stuff down. Keep it fun with the excitement of a child, right? Curious and fun and lighthearted, again, is another gateway to opening that channel. You're using your imagination this week, right? So I hope that helps. And I want to leave you with one thought, that connecting with animals is becoming easier and easier these days. And it's hard right now, I think, with some people, just because we like to multitask and we're always doing 3 different things at once. The animals do teach us to be in the moment and still. So if you can think about that and just being in the moment with them, but with the curiosity of a child, it's kind of the magic formula to beginning to open up the door to getting more information. And next week we're gonna go over all the steps to the kind of the secret formula that I use to teach in my workshops of how do we go through the steps of actually connecting on a deeper level. But for this week, we are practicing with our imagination and just seeing what flows through with the curiosity of a child. Okay, thanks for joining me.